He never imagined that the girlfriend he loved so deeply would actually shoot at him. Before he even had a chance to grieve, he suddenly realized someone was firing at him. Panicked, he spun around quickly and saw several Soviet soldiers standing behind him. With no other choice, he raised his hands as the Soviet soldiers signaled and slowly approached them. Then, obediently, he knelt on the ground, shaking his head and begging the Soviet soldiers to spare him. Although he ultimately survived by sheer luck, escaping the Soviet soldiers' gunfire, he was still sent to a prisoner of war camp. There, anyone who suffered frostbite or fell ill to the point of losing their ability to work was ruthlessly eliminated by the Soviets. By now, he had long since lost the ambition he'd had when he enlisted to achieve glory and fight for his country. At that moment, all he wanted was to survive, to return alive to his hometown, to his sister's side, and to resume the quiet, stable life he'd once thought mundane, but was actually filled with happiness. However, the wound on his foot was growing increasingly severe. He silently prayed that the Soviet soldier conducting the inspection wouldn't notice the injury on his foot, but the next second, the diligent soldier shone the light directly into his face. The beam instantly plunged Walter's vision into darkness. He knew he was as good as dead today. To prove that the frostbite on his feet wouldn't hinder his mobility, Walter mustered all his strength to stand up, desperate to cling to a sliver of hope for survival. Yet despite struggling for a long time, he couldn't manage to rise. Soon, several Soviet soldiers approached him slowly, preparing to drag him away. Walter pleaded helplessly for his life, but the soldiers remained ruthless, determined to eliminate him. He screamed in desperation, yet could not alter his impending fate. At the critical moment, however, a Soviet soldier suddenly ran out to intervene and saved Walter. Walter turned in disbelief, only to see that his savior was none other than Kuka, the man who had previously tried to persuade him to defect to the Soviet side. Walter never imagined he would encounter the traitor Kuka again under such circumstances. He immediately embraced Kuka tightly. In that moment, he was embracing not only his old friend, but also the only person who could save him now. His friend Kuka quickly stood up and told the Soviet officer, "Wat is my good friend. He wanted to defect to the Soviet army with me, but for some reason, he wasn't able to leave the German camp. He will surely make a fine soldier in the Soviet army." Seeing this, Wat quickly nodded and said he wanted to join the Soviet army. After Kuka's earnest pleas, the Soviet officer finally agreed to spare Wat for the time being. And so, by sheer luck, Walter survived for the time being. Kuka then took him to a hospital for treatment, but once inside, he began to have second thoughts. He never really wanted to defect to the Soviet army. He didn't want to betray his homeland. His earlier nod of agreement had been merely a desperate act of self-preservation, born of sheer desperation. Yet his friend Kuka tried to persuade him, arguing that it was the German army that had invaded the Soviet Union first. The Germans were the aggressors. He claimed that defecting to the Red Army was not a betrayal of their homeland, but rather a way to atone for the sins of all Germans who had erred. No matter how much his friend pleaded, however, Walter remained unwilling to join the Red Army. Yet he also knew that refusing to do so meant certain death.